Good morning, everybody. This is Judy from Artistic Artifacts. We are located in Alexandria, Virginia, and on the web at ArtisticArtifacts.com. Social media, we are on Facebook. We have a creative group that's called Artistic Artifacts. Creative Minds, that's a group that you can request to join, and that's a place for you to show us what you are creating with purchases that you've made at Artistic Artifacts or have been inspired, but maybe some of our YouTubes, which we have everything there that we do. Our Facebook Live goes to the YouTube, so if you miss it and need the replay, that's where they are. There's many there. Also, we have Instagram, Pinterest. We do have a BERNINA, Artistic Artifacts BERNINA group that also is to, again, it's a community program. It's for you to post and for you to show us what we're doing. So look for us, even though we have many, many loyal customers that might not be able to come to the store, but are online and virtual. So you're all very important to us. We are in the heat of the summer, and I'm sure that many of you go, well, you don't know what hot is, Judy. But DC in July and August is a little similar to melting. So we're happy to be inside. But with that, with summer, always BERNINA has some amazing gift with purchases. And we're going to focus a little more on BERNINA today because we now have, as I said, the gift with purchases. You can look at the pros, the 7 series pros. We have only our floor models at the moment. So, but I would love for you to come in and try them. There's some great features that were always the top of the line with the 790. That was a fly, sorry. What's a Facebook Live without a fly? And they carried them to the 735, the 770, and the 700. I know my favorite feature is the automatic threader. No more manual threading, it's automatic, and it's great. There's many more features that are wonderful, but that's my favorite so far. Laser, Barbara, laser. You know, I have to remember, because I'm not used to a machine with a laser, I have to remember to turn it on. And you are right, laser is pretty awesome. So, those are good. We do have them here, as I said, for you to see them in person. $500 deposit gets you in line to get the first deliveries. So we're looking forward to those. We do, as I said, this is the 790 Pro brochure, but many of them have now extended to the 700, the 735, and the 770, which is the most popular machine ever. So come see us. All right. Bundles of joy. The other thing that's very exciting is the 3 series has been redesigned so that it is computerized rather than manual. You can actually see the same things on that screen that you can see on the higher level machines. So when you pick a zigzag, you're seeing that on the screen instead of going, what's the number to get to this pattern? So I think the user interface is going to be a little bit easier. It's a great travel machine, entry-level machine. So we're looking at that. We still have a couple of the old style 335s, and then we're replacing them with the new style. So BERNINA has lots and lots of things going on. August 16th, we are having free seminars, 2 seminars in the day. You can come and see and meet all these new products, including the magnetic hoops and the sock hoop, which is pretty fun. I think I want embroidered socks now. I have to learn how to do that. So that is lots coming up. We also have 2 more BERNINA events. Please save the dates, September 26th and 27th. And November event, which I forgot to write down the dates, but the first one is coming. We're going to focus on the Q series machines on that one. All right. Good morning. I'm ready. I've been excited. I've been working on this Facebook Live all week. It's not a new tool for BERNINA. It's a needle felting tool. They've had it for quite some time. Before the pandemic, we went, Baby Lock had a needle felting, Simplicity had a needle felting, and Artistic Artifacts was selling at Quilt Festival. So we went to market, we saw the Simplicity needle felting machine, we went, ooh, crazy, how many do you have? We'll take them all. And so we proceeded to drive the needle felting machines home from Houston and introduce them at the store. So it was a totally separate machine. Well, Bernina which is absolutely has the best feet in the entire universe, and feet for specific programs, products, features, what you want to do. They have a needle felting foot. So I don't have to have a separate machine. It's a foot number 45. The difference in the foot is what your bobbin is, whether you are CB or rotary. You need to know that. We tried to put compatible machines up there with the feet, but if you have any questions, you can always email it at sales. So to do the needle felting with the machine, you need the foot, you need the stitch plate that says punch needle, and you need the needles. So for rotary, I think that's rotary, is you need the 5 needle. Do I have it backwards or do I have it right? I have a CB here, right? Yes, I have a CB here. Sorry, brain fart. So there's two completely settled different packages depending on whether you have a CB or a rotary. These needles are really important, and they are not regular sewing needles. These needles have little kind of barbs at the end of them that creates the needle felting action and pushes the fibers into your base, which is normally a felt. So they're really important. You can get replacements for them. Okay? So those are the tools that you need to be able to do needle felting. Now, I'm going to show you how to set your machine up for this. All right, so we take the foot off and we take the needle out with our tool. We take the stitch plate off and we take the innards out. All of this comes out. All right, so this is all out of this machine. Okay, now we have to go to settings here, and we turn off bobbin and thread. So these are these would beep because I'm not using bobbin and I'm not using thread. So you want to turn those off. Okay. All right, machine. All right, I also have to tell it I'm changing the stitch plate. So I'm changing it to punch, which is right there. Move these out of the way so I don't lose them. So I've changed it to punch. And then I change the needle. So this is a flat back like we have normally for our sewing needles. And it fits in there. There we go. You have to make sure that it's in there and snug. See how these pieces come all the way up to there? Can you get that? All right. Now, the foot goes on just like the normal feet. See this? That is just like a normal foot. So I have to maneuver so I do not break my needles, because that is the biggest deal. And I can hear them. They're going through that one. Okay. Can everybody see that okay? So it's here. Now, I'm going to hand crank because I want to make sure my needles come down. See, they're right through this, and they're going to line up with these 3 holes here. That's very important. Make sure that you do it by hand first, before you go into doing it with your foot pedal or your power pedal. All right, so our machine, I'm going to put the slide table on. It doesn't matter if I leave the door on or anything, but this is what's important to know. And I have all my setups here. Right there tells me my needle, and I'm ready for that. So you can see my recording. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to change my foot pressure. So I am going to reduce the foot pressure, 40s, 30s. I want to be able to move my fabric. I don't want to drag my needles. I want them to move freely. So I want to make sure that I don't have my foot coming all the way down and crushing my fabric like when you're sewing two pieces of fabric together. You can always change this. So now I have my view is correct. My needles, I got my needle marks. See, you can see I have yellows. I've changed those. I've clicked that. All right. So my machine is ready. So let's talk about materials. So most people use wool. I like silk fibers. So we have hand-dyed silk rovings in the store, on the web, that gives you a really big bag of multiple colors. Okay, this is wool. I don't know if you can, it's very scaly, it connects, it's a natural for felting. Silk, we're kind of forcing it to felt. All right, that's kind of what it's going to be, but that's what I like to use. And as you can see, I'm one of those people who just kind of throws all my colors together because I just am grabbing them. So using the silk roving is what I'm going to show you today. And see, it's very long. All right, I don't felt this whole piece here. I'm going to pull it. And I'm going to pull it again because I really don't need a lot. Okay, so this is important because when you needle felt, if you have a hard piece of, or a bunch of threads or something that's going to be like rock hard, you're going to break your needles. So you need soft things. All right. If I'm going to use wool, this is a piece of wool. This is a wool roving. I'm going to pull pieces off. If I have a knot in a wool roving, I'm going to get rid of that. And it happens. This is natural stuff. So it happens. Okay? So I can use both of these interchangeably. Then we have Suspargo's wool here that we use as a base. Because again, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to try and use the best quality materials I can. You can use acrylic felt is a little hard, but it's definitely usable. And these, have no idea what these are because I just found them in my closet. I know none of you know about that, right? All right, so I am going to put my tray on. Are there any questions so far? All right, here is magic. So it's just magic. It's just so cool. So I can do different things. So let's say I want to just create a straight line. All right. And for right now, because I'm still getting used to it, I am using my foot pedal, but you can use your power pedal, your power button. But I'm using my foot pedal because I just want a little more control. It's my safety net.
Oh, Liz comes on.
Hey, Liz. All right. So what this needle is doing is it's punching the silk into the wool or the wool felt, and that's going to hold it in place. See, can you see the punch marks? Oops, there we go. Maybe that's better. Is that better?
Can you point him out?
All right, so see here, so punch parts here. All right, and then look at the back. Okay, so this shows you the 3 needles and how it is punching the silk through on the wool felt. It's magic. It's absolutely magic. It's so easy. All right, so say I want to mix some fibers in here. So I have a little bit of wool, and you can see the difference. So here's wool, here's silk. Okay, so you have your difference in your materials. All right, so we are going to and wool is just a little more, has more scales on it. Silk has no scales. So the wool felts much easier. And there's some really fabulous felters who do wool felting, wet felting. I tend to have not done very well with that. I get tired because you're hand rolling it and it's sticking together. So I like this dry felting process better.
Do you have your feed dogs down?
I don't. I wonder if I'm supposed to. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. That's going to move this better. It's easier. I don't think it matters. I left my feed dogs up, so I have a little bit of traction, but looks like you can do it either way. Really not using the feed dogs. It was just giving me a little bit more control. But who wants control? All right, one of the other things, so maybe I want to make a circle. I tend to be more organic in my motifs, but I know people who do beautiful needle felting and do portraits in there or do animals. I just kind of work with straight lines and backgrounds. So here's a way of doing a circle. When I say knotty things, see, this is not, you don't want to use these. This kind of stuff. Those are going to break your needles. And I always have mush in my things. It's thread, whatever. And so maybe I'm going to go over this with needle and thread, whether by hand or by machine. So you can always add texture that way. This is silk, comes in all kinds of different ways. Some of it is going to be a hanky, which is going to be different. Some of it's going to be a silk cocoon. So
Can you use silk ribbon?
you can. I think that punching holes in I use sari ribbon all the time, but just know, test it first because you're going to punch a hole in it. These are, so you might want to do embroidery with silk ribbon if you want, rather than having it be a punch needle. Do I have, I think I didn't bring, oh, here's a piece of silk. Okay, so this is silk dupioni. So we can, I would not try this with, can you hear it? I wouldn't try this with a really tightly woven fabric. Yeah, that's not doing much, but I know I did, so that didn't work too well. I know I did some silk. I would say a lighter, looser woven. Maybe, kind of. Let's see what this is. I don't think that's silk. That might be rayon. I have, as I said, done silk sari. Let's try this. We used to have these bags of scraps of silk for needle felting because we were needle felting very early on in the business. And as you can see, it's going to take up, because it's punching things down, it's going to take a shorter, it's going to, I'm not saying this right. It's going to, see how it's pushing the fabric in there, because it's taking it and pushing it into the fabric. So it's a take-up thing. So you need longer than you think. This piece needs to be longer than this piece of felt. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And maybe I need more coffee.
Can you felt 2 wool pieces together?
You mean, I don't know, so meaning a solid piece here and here? Is that what you mean? Is that what the question is?
It wasn't specified.
I don't know if that's using the tool to its advantage. But you can see that I punched holes in it.
Now all the questions are coming in.
Okay.
Liz says that chiffon is a dream to felt.
Yes, and there is chiffon sari ribbon that is actually beautiful. That is correct.
And can you use silk paper?
No, I would not bother doing that. And I did try it. I did it. So I took the silk paper, and it didn't enhance it at all. It's better to use the raw product, the raw silk, before you've added matte meeting. I would not do that. As I said, I was not impressed with it. I've taken silk paper and stitched on it with thread or hand stitched with needle, and that embellishes it. The needle felting did not do anything for it, in my experience. But, try it and see if you come up with a different result. I just didn't think, I rather use the raw silk than that. So it's a good question, because I did try it. I thought about it. And what other questions do we have?
That was the backlog.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. So, what time are we at? 9:54. Okay. So, I am actually got to create some things that I'm kind of excited to show you. And I will take some time to show you that now. I like bits and pieces that I can add to other things that I'm creating. And you've heard me say this before. I do my woodblock printing. I do my hand stitching, my little pieces, 4x4s of hand stitching, and then I use them in other pieces. So I have a small box, which I think this box is going to get bigger now that I have my needle felting tool. And but this is from before. This is when we were experimenting years and years ago with needle felting. So I've made a piece. So say I make a piece like this, or I make a piece like this. Again, you don't always have to think of using it whole, like the whole, when you're painting, when you're doing these bits of extra dimensional things, they don't become a whole piece all the time. They become pieces of something else. So I did these, and I cut a flower out, or I cut a heart out. And then maybe I did it, some beading on it, and created a little tiny quiltlet. So I just kind of keep these all in these boxes and experiment. These are flowers that we did, and this is a little bit of needle felting and a little bit of wet felting that was done. So these are kind of my old examples of things that are my wool pieces here. So I kind of collect those. And one of the first pieces I did was this piece. This has been around for quite a while. These pieces are all needle felted, and I just cut them up. And then the blue is fold sweaters, and I cut the hearts out, and then I beaded those as well. So this piece is a way of using your bits and pieces here. The other thing that, and I think that this is an easy thing to do, is this is a piece of silk chiffon, but what it shows you is that you can maybe do a scarf and do the ends of the scarf. So you have where you just do a little bit here. All right. I did work on some backgrounds. So here is a background that's very soft, using a piece of vintage, using some dyed cheesecloth. So that might be a piece, but it definitely needs hand stitching. So this piece here is a kind of one I'm still working on, but you can see I've enhanced it with some hand-dyed vintage and some hand stitching. So, and I'm not quite sure where this is going. A little bit organic. I was trying to do some circles and things. So this is definitely still in process. And Chris and I, who has done many Facebook Lives here and is a big, important part of Artistic Artifacts, we trade stuff all the time. So I ended up with her box of needle felting supplies and things, and I found this piece that she had done, so I finished it for her. So she did the flowers on the wool, and I did a little bit of quilt blocks and hand stitch it with a buttonhole stitch for her. So that's going to go to Chris. But so this is how you can incorporate these two types of mediums. All right. And then this one is really fun. I was very excited to do this. So here's a piece that you can see the blue wool, you can see the needle felted pieces, and then I added vintage trims, some shells, some beads, and so I thought that that was a fun little undersea life piece. So,
were you doing that a lot growing up?
yeah, I did. I just, this was fun. This was definitely fun. So this just shows you that the needle felting is a starting point. It's not an ending point. It's something that can be used and incorporated in lots of other work. So it's a great Bernina accessory and foot. I don't think it's talked about enough for how fabulous it is. And I hope that, we do have it on our website. We have included the needles, the replacement needles, the stitch plate, and the foot. And for those of you who might want to try it, I think that it'll be pretty exciting. So thank you for joining us today. And I hope that you have a very creative day. Thank you.